This is a prepaid call from
Emilia Carr,
an inmate at a Florida Department of Corrections institution.
I was arrested at 7.5 months pregnant. Towards the end of the pregnancy, I was housed in the infirmary, and it was terrifying. When I went into labor, I was shackled to the bed. My family wasn't there. After giving birth, I got to hold her for about 15 minutes. Within 6 hours, I was back in a cell by myself in isolation. I haven't seen my kids in 13 years.
Today, Emilia Carr was given the death penalty for her role in a 2009 murder. Prosecutors believe Carr and her boyfriend, Josh Fulgham, lured his ex Heather Strong to a storage trailer, tortured her, and killed her.
I'm Heather Strong's mother. Heather was a sweet child growing up. Fun-loving, outgoing. Everybody in school loved her. She had a lot of friends.
Heather was always really happy-go-lucky, and it seemed like the more she was helping somebody, the happier she was.
She was just always like a mother figure to us and any of the kids in the neighborhood.
She never thought about herself.
My name is Dolores Porthree, and I work with Heather Strong at the Iron Skillet truck stop. We worked together about 2 years. Josh and Heather had a very abusive relationship. He was constantly hitting her and just coming in with bruises on her and crying. She was just always in a state of fear. She'd leave him, and then he'd convince her to come back again. That went on for over 10 years. Emilia and Heather and Josh were all actually good friends at one point. And then after Heather and Josh split up one time, then Josh and Emilia started dating. Josh had actually asked Emilia to marry him. He'd bought her a ring, and about a month later, he took the ring back from Emilia and then turned around and Heather and Josh got married.
When I learned that they got married, I was so mad. She called and we ended up hanging up. And a couple of months went by and I decided, okay, you know, I've got to talk to her. So I called her back up and told her I was sorry, you know, that I hung up on her. And 2 weeks after that, she was missing. I felt really bad, you know, for doing that.
Myself and the lead detective were in a vehicle parked right here, listening to every single word as Emilia spoke to Josh's relative, parked right under the big oak tree.
Will you tell me so I know what all Josh said was true?
If he confesses to this, we both go down and we both lose our kids.
I'm not here to hurt you. And you told me from day one when I met you, you would always be honest with me. So what happened that night?
He hit her on the head and broke a flashlight. She tried to run for the door, and she knocked me down
and she knocked the window out. He dragged her back, and he started to tape her to the chair. So what happened next? We put the bag over her head. We tried to snap her neck. That didn't work. Why would you try to break her neck? I made it be quick and painless.
Today, a jury sentenced Joshua Fulgham to life in prison for his role in the kidnapping and murder of his estranged wife, Heather Strong. His girlfriend and co-defendant Emilia Carr was given the death penalty for her role as prosecutors determined Carr to be the mastermind behind the kidnapping and murder of Strong.
It's a really bad emotional roller coaster ride when you're behind that door. You deal with the hope that maybe this appeal will go through or maybe this attorney will care. You feel continuously like you're just fighting and fighting and fighting a wall.
The appeals process, I think, is a roller coaster for everybody involved. The average time on death row is about 10 years. There are people who've been on death row for 30 years. And that's why, on occasion, we would see inmates who waived all of their appeals. They ask that their date be set. They don't want to do that time. They want to be done. They want to be out because they cannot handle doing that time in isolation with no control and absolutely no freedom.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that our whole death penalty sentencing scheme was unconstitutional in that a unanimous jury vote is required to sentence an individual to death. So in Emilia's case, because it was only a 7-5 vote for death the first time around, therefore she was resentenced to life.
I think the hardest thing for me was back in 2018. I received an affidavit from my co-defendant saying he's the one that premeditated all this. He dragged me into a situation I never wanted to be a part of and that I'm innocent. And so I've been fighting, and I have loved ones who are trying to get legal help. I simply want a fair trial. I want a fair chance.
I was made aware that an affidavit exists that absolves Emilia of any involvement. The problem I see with that is recanted testimony and even recanted statements. Confessions is very much frowned upon by courts because you told me you lied before in this document. How do I know you're not lying now? And Emilia faces the additional problem I see in the fact that her statements about her involvement have pretty much sealed her fate, I'm afraid.
I've been incarcerated 13 years fighting for my life. Fighting for my life. I would love to go home. I have 4 children. My oldest is about to be 19 in January. Anyone who knows me knows I am not the same person. I'm sitting here on 2 life sentences for first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. This is crazy. And sorry, I don't care how many times I get knocked down. I'm fighting to go home. I'm fighting for my freedom. I'm fighting for my life, and I'm not going to stop.